Hi Andy, thanks for the footage. Sorry for the delay in getting this back across to you. Obviously you've been away, I've been away. Hopefully this finds you well and you've had a chance to consider the information I sent across on the little video previously. Just a couple of things here before we look at the swing. First of all, the manner in which you're setting this drill up as per your session. It may be the perspective of the camera, but ideally we want this cane here that's in the ground to be more on the target line. It looks to me to be sort of just outside the toe line now. That cane was to establish the shot cone, so if that was a straight line, obviously there is a perspective on this camera, but if that was our desired starting line, we'd want this ball to begin its journey, if we're going to hit a little push draw, slightly right of that line. And the red line is where we would want the cane, so it's just to give us something to start the ball right of. Like I say, it looks to me though that the cane's a little bit too much offset to the left, and as a result will not have the desired effect with the drill. From a setup perspective down the line, I'd like to see you soften this right arm as per what we see with Charlie. So you've got a very straight right arm. Charlie's right arm is a little bit softer. You can see a little bit of the left arm, and it's just a feel, just a softening of the arm, making it easier for the right arm accumulator 1 to load during the backswing. One of the things that we see with yourself from face on is that right arm stays very straight early in the piece. If we watch people like Grant Waite, as they take the club back, the right arm softens more incrementally, so more gradual loading of accumulator 1 from P2 to P3 would be desired. So we've got a very straight right arm in your case, rather than a softening right arm in Grant Waite or Charlie Wee's case. Not easy to say, that one. So a little bit more work on the exercise where I'm sure we did it in your visit, where we put the little cone down about a foot behind the golf ball to help with the ascent of the club head and the ascent of the hands. That's going to encourage you to soften up the right arm quite a bit during the takeaway. I've recently done a recap for a lad called Graham Smith. It'd be worth watching his recap because we worked on this move, and I'll show you the before and after, and he made a remarkable change during the course of his lesson. So Graham Smith, watch his recap back in relation to the softening of the right arm. So that's the first change I'd like to see you make. Softening the right arm will make it much easier for you to make a turn on a tilted angle around a stable axis. You can see there what I was saying about the club rolling behind your fraction rather than the hands coming in and the club staying out, as per the little video that I sent across. And that has an effect that the shoulders aren't quite as tilted as they should be, and the elbows aren't quite in the position to do what they need to do during the rest of the backswing, which is why we get a little bit across the line at the top of the backswing. So softening the right arm, working more on the position that you see Charlie in there on the bottom left hand side of your screen. When we look at the setup from face on with a golf ball, get rid of that graphic, beg your pardon. We see a slight side bend towards the target. And when we look at it without the golf ball, we see a better position where there's sort of centres are stacked on top of one another, or a slight side bend away from the target. Again, that's something that you want to consider. I much prefer this setup here when we're hitting at the line. It's possibly a mental thing. You just feel like you want to get that upper centre forward to allow you to sort of trap the golf ball. From face on, again, take away a little bit too wide. Left knee I haven't got a problem with. The left knee will come in based on the amount of hip turn that you require. Your left knee is flexing forward at a steady rate, so therefore you don't move off the golf ball, so I can live with that. I haven't got a problem with that at all. If we take a little look at it when you're hitting the line, Again, similar sort of move. My big concern is still that movement of the wrists and the arms away from the shoulder, resulting in a very wide and high P6. I think the lower body's trying to work nicely, but instead of the wrists maintaining their angles, the wrists are getting dumped a little bit too early, which means the radius of the swing, so the distance from the centre of the left shoulder to the sweet spot, is too wide, which is going to lead to obviously problems where low point and direction are concerned. If we look at it with the line, it's a little bit more advanced with the butt of the club. There's a little bit more angle maintained with the right arm, so that movement from the top is not quite as severe. Move through the ball tends to be still a little bit more flex forward than we would like. So a lot of the time when we look at this footage here on the top, you're moving the low point forward by lunging with the body at times, rather than by moving the lower body forward and tightening the radius as per Grant Waite. So Grant Waite's move the lower body forward and tighten the radius. With yourself, you're sort of widening the radius but moving the upper centre forward. So a little bit of a cheat in there. What I'm going to do later is I'm going to do another little video where I step in and explain a couple of drills for you. I'd like to see you hitting shots with a cane to the side of your head to prevent that flexing forward from the top. And I'd also like to see you develop a feel for what goes on from P4 to P6. From a setup perspective, like I say, consider where the upper centre and the lower centre are located. I still prefer you when your hips are pushed forward a little bit. Soften up the right arm to allow for a better takeaway and a subsequent improved top of the backswing position, and spend a little bit of time with the cone or the towel behind your golf ball just to encourage a slightly quicker ascent of the hands and a slightly tighter radius on the way back. And again, that drill will also discourage any dumping of accumulator 2 on the way down, as any dumping will result in a widening of the arc and potential for hitting whatever's laid behind the golf ball. You know, I think based on your first visit down in February, there's a lot of really good things in this swing, but there's one or two key elements. That looks a nice shot on that one. One or two key elements that are really sort of holding you back in regards to your long-term development within the system. On the follow-through, keep those arms nice and straight. Try and control the finish a little bit more, so we stop quicker rather than letting the elbows flex. Maybe have a feel like you see Charlie here on the way through, where the arms are like steel rods, hips tucking under, and the follow through is a little bit more curtailed. Like I say, I'll get across some more videos of the drills that I suggest you work on between now and probably, well, within the next sort of 48 hours or so. Probably get them across to you this evening at some point. Hope this finds you well. Hope you're enjoying your golf, and look forward to meeting up with you again really soon. Well done.